in America. No, Donald Trump is a snake oil salesman with a knack for deceptive marketing. He's deceptively marketing himself as a friend of communities of color. Never mind his history of discriminating against black tenants. Never mind his history of aiding and abetting the wrongful prosecution of black men, the Central Park Five. Never mind accusing immigrants of poisoning the blood of our country. You know, with friends like these, who needs enemies?
Now, it was in your district. Did he invite you to the rally?
He did not invite me, but I would have declined if invited. So.
And now, earlier today, President Biden delivered the commencement speech to this year's graduating class at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point in New York. As you imagine, he addressed the war in Gaza. Take a listen.
In the Middle East, while we conduct urgent diplomacy to secure immediate ceasefire that brings hostages home, in the face of Iran's recent unprecedented attack on Israel, we brought partners together, including Arab nations, to repel the sustained assault.
Now, you've taken a staunchly pro-Israel stance over the course of this conflict, even as the war has opened division among Democrats ahead of the election. With that, do you think the president's enduring support for Israel will hurt him in November?
Look, I'm reminded of the words of James Carville, who said it's the economy stupid. I feel like the issue that starts with an I that's going to determine the election is not Israel, it's inflation. And so there should be a laser sharp focus on bread and butter issues. The president should discuss his achievement in capping the price of insulin at $35, which is a game changer for senior citizens. Look, when it comes to Israel, the president is striking a thoughtful balance, right? There should be a humanitarian operation that delivers aid to Gazans in distress. There should be a diplomatic operation that secures the release of the hostages. But there should also be a military operation that removes Hamas from power so that there's no longer a repeat of October 7th.
You know, we're in the midst of a somber anniversary tonight. George Floyd was murdered by a Minneapolis police officer 4 years ago today, sparking an unprecedented national conversation around policing reform. And you and I talked about that. I did George Floyd's funerals as the eulogist and led the marches, many of the marches. Yet the reform legislation that bears his name remains inert after passing the House in 2021. What more can be done at a federal level, Congressman?
Look, we have to reclaim the momentum behind police reform, behind the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. You know, there's an urgent need to end qualified immunity. As far as I'm concerned, the doctrine of qualified immunity is a license to brutalize black and brown bodies with impunity. You know, if you're an officer and you're never held accountable for abusing your power, you have no incentive to exercise restraint in the use of force. So we need to pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. You know, if we manage to keep the Senate without Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, then we're finally going to have a path to abolishing the filibuster, which is the greatest stumbling block to police reform.
And I might add, we got the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act that you referred to in the House, couldn't get it in the Senate because of the Donald Trump Republicans, and Trump was the president, never came out for the bill. In fact, he defended qualified immunity in a speech last week. Right. But before we lose you, Congressman, we're now waiting on the Senate to take up legislation cracking down on safety standards for lithium batteries, a bill you introduced, which passed in the House this week after these batteries caused a number of fatal fires in New York City. What more can you tell us about the danger and how this legislation combats it?
Well, for me, the issue of fire safety is an issue of racial justice. Like, communities of color in places like the Bronx are the hardest hit by catastrophic fires. You know, the 4 deadliest fires in New York City in the past 30 years have all been in the Bronx, which is overwhelmingly African American and Latino.
Right.
And the fastest growing cause of fires in New York City is lithium-ion batteries. These are ticking time bombs that are waiting to detonate in our homes and communities. And so I passed legislation in the House that would establish safety standards for the manufacturing of lithium-ion batteries and the e-bikes that contain them. It passed the House. We're waiting for action from the Senate.
Let me ask you this. I know I said I was going to let you go, but what is your prediction in 2024? Will the Democrats be able to retake the House? Hakeem Jeffries be Speaker? Then you have some races that look close, the Cori Bush race in St. Louis, and then the race in Westchester with Jamal Bowman. How do you think the Democrats are going to fare in these House races?
Look, I am hopeful that come January, we're going to be announcing that Hakeem Jeffries is the first black speaker in American history, and it's going to represent a new chapter in the American story. So that's the only prediction I will make, and I'm confident we're going to take back the House. You know, the Senate is going to be an uphill battle, but we have a fighting chance of winning the Senate, and I'm confident that we're going to have a President, Joe Biden, reelected, and a Speaker, Hakeem Jeffries.
All right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for coming in, Congressman Richie Torres of